semester review. Greetings, human beings. It has been about half a year since I've last done a semester review, obviously, since the semester is half a year. So anyways, yep, let's get right into it, cause I don't want it to be as long as last time. Last time was like about 1 hour, which is way too long for a video, especially a review. So we're gonna do stuff, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go right into file Parker, since I'm gonna use it again. So, whoosh, look at that! Isn't that beautiful? Oh my god! All right, let's cut that. Anyways, so second semester. As a reminder, I'm studying games engineering, informatics games engineering at the Technical University Munich, and if you have any questions about anything, you can look it up. It's all in the last video. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so this year we have a few topics. So mainly, first of all, we have the 4 categories. So we have informatics, right? Then we have the math stuff. We have the games engineering stuff. Way too long. And we have other topics, like stuff that's not related to the other stuff. Basically, most of the informatics, math, and games engineering stuff is mandatory, while the other stuff is not. So the topics we have, or the lectures we have, or the courses that are mandatory in informatics is introduction. Oh, yeah, introduction, whatever, to software technique. Then we have in fundamentals. Oops, changed the color accidentally. Fundama. I'm just writing Fundama, but fundamentals in algorithms. I was gonna write algo and data structures. Struct. Something like that. It was a bad use. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So we have these 2 topics in informatics that are mandatory. In math we have linear algebra. I'm gonna write linear. And games engineering we have real-time computer graphics, as well as the practical version of it. So like the theory behind it, how does it work and everything, and the practical, like actually performing it and doing it. Right, and as others, I chose to continue the Japanese and did A12. Alright, so that's that. Okay, let's get right into it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a direction, with the order I just went through to list them. So first we have the introduction to software technique. Software tech. That this is not working as intended. Oh, what are you doing? Why is this not white? Because I used gray. I'm sorry. I'm still not used to it, apparently. I'm sorry. Just kidding, it's fine. So yeah, intro to software tech. Software tech. Or like software engineering, basically. So the idea, the concept behind that is basically you learn UML. You learn the procedure that software goes through, so like the life cycle of the software, of the development of the software. You learn organizations, stuff like the structure and how like the work is put through and everything. You will also learn, what is it, some other organization stuff like source control and version control and all that kind of stuff, like words like Git, for example. Stuff like Jenkins maybe thrown in stuff. But yeah, so you get a good idea about the basics of software engineering, which is really important for anything informatics, basically. It might happen that you will never use most of it, but it is really important nonetheless. So really good that they cover that. Alright. So then we have next up, it's often written as this, so it's the technically fundamentals of algorithms and data structures. Technically in English it should be like this. Basically you will learn the notations on how to write or how to say that like a function takes longer than another one. So like runtime is really important, and not just runtime itself, but really the time it takes for software to run, which is really important, since if you want to make software for a client and it needs to be fast and efficient enough, it might actually be bad if it's not optimized. So like optimization is the big factor behind this. So a few big topics that are important for this basically is the algorithms that are used for sorting stuff, and the data structures that are used for storing data. Eventually even storing it in a sorted fammer, so sorted store basically. As well as like other things that are important as like searching, etc. That's the big stuff you will basically learn in GAD, which is nice. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that the big factor of this runtime stuff, right, is basically 4 loops, or like not even 4 loops. Let's remove it. Just like loops. So like, yeah, that's basically it. Not instructions, but really loops are the big loopholes of speed and performance. I wrote it on the wrong layer. Whoops. I'm a professional. Look at me. There. Next up we go into mathematics. You can see that I'm like really going fast, since I really want to do like make sure that it's around 50 minutes, maybe not. So, yeah. Linear algebra. Last time we had discrete structures, which was like totally crazy and insane. Linear algebra is also very different from school mathematics, completely different. It focuses basically on matrices or matrix, as well as what is it? Vectors. This is the big focus of linear algebra, and you will basically calculate with them. You will like do some fancy stuff, learn like what is a transpose, and everything, this kind of stuff. And it makes sense, of course, because if you do like game development, you will have to work a lot with these, which you will see when I get to the next topic. So this is really important, and I think that is really great again that they take this, especially in this year where it makes a lot of sense to actually do it. Because let's go into games engineering and then you will see why. In games engineering, that is wrong. Engineering, I can't write, sorry. In games engineering, we basically have this big topic of real-time computer graphics. And something that's interesting about this, that before it was called this, call it something about this. Let's go with this. This is shorter. Before it was called this, it was called game engine design. And you notice that there are still some things left with it. Done. So something that has changed basically is that the focus is more on like creating models, loading models, filling the buffers. Like they use DirectX primarily. You can develop everything of it in OpenGL if you want, but that's not supported by them specifically. So yeah, DirectX is the go-to. Yeah, you will get a template. Like let's go with a theoretical first. Like you know, slide forward. So theoretical. What you will learn is basically yeah, how does shading work? Yeah, shading. You will learn like yeah, how to write a shader. You will learn how to calculate light. You will learn how to load. I'm going for too much to write here. That's the issue. Need to write less. Of course, writing takes time. So what is it called? Polygons. Like the fighting polygon team from Super Smash Bros. Polygons, when we have meshes, vertices, and yeah, the pipeline is important, the render pipeline. And then there's also shadow mapping. And basically all these important procedures that are all necessary to like take an object that is created in Blender, for example, and put it onto the screen, like to render it. So basically rendering is a big thing about this time. I mean, real-time computer graphics, it's basically rendering. Nothing else than that. So yeah, that covers pretty much the theoretical. The practical was a project where you get a template, and using the template you go through the assignments to create to do all the job, to work with DirectX. You get to write shaders, simple ones but still shaders. The vertex shader, geometry shader, and pixel shader are all important. Whoops, wrong, right there. Are all important for this. Then there's also what do we have? With DirectX shaders, we have algorithm to generate terrain, because there's terrain generation as well, which uses the diamond square algorithm. And then we also have with a terrain normal mapping, height maps, and all that kind of stuff related to that, which is also part of the theoretical, by the way. So this is also like mapping, texture mapping basically. And we also have like coordinates calculation from transformations, which is where the matrices come in and are really important. Transformation. There's a 4 in there. Alright. Yeah, like everything that's covered in the theoretical is also covered in the practical to a certain degree. Like there's more in the theoretical than in the practical, but the practical also like there's nothing too new. Maybe the diamond square algorithms, but aside from that, it's pretty much it. Yeah, so also loading like files. Primarily the object file, which is used by different rendering programs to create objects and that kind of stuff. So that pretty much covers it, but we also have like physics calculation, simple physics calculation using the Euler method. And we have collision detection, which is like a leftover from the engine design, like both of these, I think. The project, by the way, was a stationary 3D shooter. Which is like a really good project actually to go on. Like we've used first semester you work with an engine, second semester you like build up from DirectX on, which is better than OpenGL for beginning since you have everything you need to program a game, or the most important stuff already in DirectX, which is not the case for OpenGL where you need to use extra libraries to do like different stuff like loading music, sounds and all that kind of stuff. And aside from that, the last thing that's basically in there is pretty much like the other stuff I did Japanese because I'm really interested in it. I want to learn more about it. And it is a really interesting language, but I'm not going into it too much. Yeah. Yeah, focus of this was now in comparison to last time. I don't know how deep I got into it, but pretty much learning katakana. It was more kanji. And yeah, a lot of grammar. As I already mentioned, I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's like a chosen topic. Like it's not mandatory, you can choose to do different stuff, and I just went for it over ECTS and stuff. So it concludes a summary of everything pretty well, 60 minutes or something like that, which is great. So now, the review, let's get to it. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the first slide, which is down here. There we go. So, as I already mentioned, like, introduction to software technique, green. So this is like the most, one of the most important stuffs for real world informatics. Even though you will never use UML, but it's really important to have seen it, to have understood it, because depending on where you land, you might have to use, but sometimes you might not have. So it's really hard to tell, but I think it is important, definitely, to do that in anything related to programming or informatics or project-based stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is really important to learn, so good that they put it in there. They could do it in the first semester, but I think the second one is better. But it's definitely something you have to put in like the first few. So yeah, it is great that it's there. Fundamentals in algorithm and data structures is... It feels a bit... I don't know how to say it. Like, it is really nice to... Like, the notations are nice to know, but you will probably never use them. So yeah, except maybe if you like do more scientific stuff and everything, but in real world you will not really. The concept of like optimizing algorithms and all that kind of stuff and using research algorithms and knowing their advantages and disadvantages, as well with the data structures to know the advantages and disadvantages, is really interesting, really important. You will definitely need it once you implement something in that direction. So that is a huge plus. Then the thing is, like, it's just a few of algorithms and data structures with a high focus on sorting, finding objects, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not too sure, but overall, I think it's nice. Overall, I don't know, something around 75 to 80%. So let's say 87% or something with that. UML goes down here. Overall, I would let's give it a 76%. That one. I also will mention a little bit more about this. So, LinAlg. LinAlgebra is really important. It goes really well with the games engineering stuff. So that is a huge plus for it. So yeah, it's really important. It really focuses on everything you need to know. You will use almost all of it actually, and you can use all of the linear algebra you learn in games engineering, so it will get a high score for me. But like the lecture and everything it was a little bit lackluster, especially with the streaming, so let's say 58%. Real-time theory, computer graphics, definitely really important. Everything that was mentioned is great and useful, so it is really beautiful. It's not the best lecture itself, but the topics and everything was used really nice. The only thing I don't like is the last exam, or the end term exam, because it had like exercises in it that were like, they seemed really different from what has been done throughout the lecture. It is the same topics, but the way it is presented was really weird to me. So that is a huge minus. The practical was also very unique. I think unique is a good word to describe the exams. So I'm gonna take 25% down from it, maybe. Or maybe 25% is a little too much, right? Because the topics and everything was great. Yeah, let's give it also 58%. I've almost completely 58%. So yeah, Japanese, I didn't really participate in everything. I learned it completely on my own at home, so I can't really rate the lecture, but looking at the first one and everything, I think it's really decent, but I'm gonna take a little bit off from that too, because yeah, right, I totally forgot about that. The exam had some words in it that I haven't seen, so not participating in lectures definitely had a minus there. But yeah, the correction was really nice, and I can't say anything about the topic or the theme because it just goes through the books. But overall, I think it was really nice. And Introduction to Software Technique, I need to correct this. Was actually something we did was the lectures, the emails, the system they use Artemis, by the way, in case you know it, and everything overall. It was really motivated. Like the people, the tutors, the professors, and everything. They are so motivated, and the way everything is handled, it's just beautiful actually. So I need to give it a huge plus for the lectures and all around. So, and that basically gives us a good overview over the scoring. So yeah, we have a lot of 85s, we have 2 78s. So in overall, that would make, let's see, so probably it's gonna be, with no joke, it's gonna be around 80, like 80? Yeah, 80, probably 6 point. Let's go 6. With a line over there. Infinite 6. That's like the devil's number, which is really interesting because the first time when I saw the studying stuff, like the games engineering, informatics games engineering thing, it costed what was it? I think €666 in total. It's not the case anymore. It has gone up from the price, but it was really like like really interesting. So yeah, that is basically an 8 out of 10, pretty much, or 8.6 out of 10, something like that. Yeah, really great. I like that, and I'm gonna be interested in the next semester where I'm gonna take like a lot of stuff actually. I'm gonna go more into shaders, and I'm also going into audio design, introduction to audio design for games engineering. Alright, without letting the video go longer than this, already at 25 minutes, I'm gonna say thanks for watching, thanks for all the support that I've gotten so far, and yeah, I'm gonna make more videos. Until then, green neck out for today. Hope this helps you and keeps it like short and everything. Bye.